such as a traffic accident, a sports injury, or an accident in the home. According to the Children's Hospital of Central California, 11,000 children experience eye trauma injuries annually in the U.S. The purpose of first basic aid is to ensure that if you or anyone else are injured, you will be able to perform basic life steps and basic emergency medical treatment until the injured party can receive professional medical care. Eye injuries are serious injuries as they can easily lead to blindness. It is important to be trained to perform basic first aid techniques that would assist in stabilizing an injured party long enough to get them proper medical care. Today I will cover the basic life-saving steps, then identify a specific type of eye injury and demonstrate how to treat the eye injury. And finally, I will discuss eye injury prevention. The first thing to be concerned with are the basic life-saving steps. In regard to any injury, you must first evaluate the injury and take any medical actions to ensure the party can be stabilized and receive further medical treatment. Let's talk about what those basic life-saving steps are. We call them the ABCs: airway, breathing, and circulation. In order to evaluate a situation, you need to assure that the injured party, you tilt their head back, and you check their airway to assure that there is nothing blocking their airway so that they can breathe. You can even go so far as to put a mirror in front of their face or sit down so that you can hear the breathing coming in and out. You can also check their chest to assure that their chest is moving up and down because your lungs inflate and deflate when you're breathing. And the circulation, you can check in the wrist for their blood pressure, their heartbeat, or you can check in their neck. You count for 1 minute to assure that their blood pressure isn't too low. Too low would be anywhere below 60. If their blood pressure is lower than 60, it's good to elevate their legs to help get the blood circulation back to their heart. Once you have performed the evaluation and any life-saving steps, you will need to address the specific injury. Every injury has different treatment to ensure the stability of the injured party or avoid further injury. For example, you could be addressing an eye injury, such as some type of projectile lodged in a child's or person's eye. This type of injury can be very serious as it may lead to loss of sight. According to the National Society to Prevent Blindness, 1/3 of sight loss in children under the age of 10 is due to traumatic eye injury. How do you identify such an injury? Obvious physical injuries could be the object lodged in his eye. There could be sight problems. With children, it's very important to pay attention to their rubbing. Sometimes glass or some kind of particle can get in there, and you have to assure that they're not rubbing and scratching. Now that you have identified the injury, what are you going to do about it? Do you know how to treat an eye injury? If not, you are in luck, as I will now demonstrate how to treat an eye injury involving a foreign object embedded in the eye. I was in the United States Air Force for 14 years, and for 9 of those years I trained on how to deal with such a situation. If something happens at home or on a sports team, hockey, whatever, the most important thing is to make sure you've stabilized the area. Cups are wonderful. You poke a hole in it about the size of the object. You just slide the cup. Good thing it's not actually inside. Over the area. The most important thing to remember is that both eyes move together. So if you're going to secure that this doesn't keep moving and injuring the eye, you need to cover the other eye, and very lightly, I used old t-shirts, you can use anything, it has to be light. Bandage the area to secure both eyes. You also need to treat for shock. Imagine having something foreign stuck in your eye. You're going to be in shock. Cover the person, make sure that they stay warm, keep them down so that they don't jerk around and have their eyes flashing more than they should be, and always stay with them until medical personnel can come and assist. Never, ever, ever pull the object out, ever. Don't try to wash, let the blood clot, and allow for medical personnel to come and treat. Now we'll talk about prevention. I don't think, when I had my daughter, I never thought about the things that could possibly happen to her or get stuck in her eyeball until her friend came to my door with a key lodged in his eyeball. Anything, it can be anything. These are my favorite lollipops. Children running through playgrounds jam right into their eyeballs. You have to teach children how to carry sharp objects properly. A cut on the hand is much better than a knife in the eye. Pointed out, pointed down, and preferably with their hands wrapped around them. Scissors would work the same way. And if they're playing sports activities, they really should have the proper eye gear. In our home, we do a lot of sanding and furniture work. These are my daughter's goggles. She wears them to protect her face and her eyes so that there's no damage or dust into the eyeballs. So today I have discussed the need for training in basic first aid. I have discussed the basic life-saving steps, informed you on how to identify a specific type of eye injury, as well as demonstrated the proper treatment for this injury. And finally, we discussed some eye injury prevention. The importance of learning basic first aid cannot be overstated. It's imperative. If you have children, you have friends, anywhere you go, you will run into someone that may need your help. Learning the ABCs on how to check their airway, their breathing, and their circulation, and being able to keep them stabilized until someone can help with medical treatment and medical professional treatment is a must in life. Thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Kate.
Well, what happens if you don't have a cup?
If you don't have a cup, you can use any circular object. Eyes are circular. It's better to use a circular object. Smaller, to be able to put it around. The importance of this is to keep this from moving. You want to keep it stabilized. The cup secures the area. You can use anything. Anything that you can poke a hole through and get that object to not be moving.
That young man deserves an extra credit.
Yes, he does. That's not a question, though.